Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the bold analysis. Today, I am very disappointed. I am disappointed by one gentleman, MBADI, John MBADI. The ODM chairperson, who is also ODM nominated member of parliament. We must tell him the truth. The hypocrisy amongst the Nyanza politicians has to be called out in its ugly face. I don't agree with John MBADI. And the statement today, I think it will be there is something that Raila, Orengo confronted Raila. And I can tell you all that was choreographed. Raila walked out of a deal to get cabinet slots in Kenya Kwanza. And probably my interpretation here is the likes of John MBADI were some of the people, some of the leaders that were supposed to get cabinet slots if ODM was to be picked. William Ruto insisted that Treasury had to go to Luo Nyanza. And there were corridor talks that probably that was John MBADI being targeted with the CS position, especially that of Treasury. So he was going to leave his nomination as ODM in the ODM party and take up Treasury. But immediately Raila walked out of the deal, the John MBADI are now more disappointed and ranting in the villages the way the dialogue must continue so that we save the country. It's a bit laughable that John MBADI and a clique of those ODM politicians have turned to be the saviors of the country. The savior of the situation is just one thing: good governance, fixing the country so that Ruto moves from Saul to Paul. And today, I listened to MBADI after realizing that that cabinet slot was not going to be there. He decided to attack the section of ODM party that is against any sort of talks. I want to listen to altercation between Orengo and MBADI.
I'm saying, me as James Agre Orengo, putting aside even my position as a governor, that justice must be done. We cannot kill our people. And the time when we are mourning them, we are looking for officers. That cannot happen. We must first deal with injustice before we can deal with questions that arise out of that injustice. So I'm praying that Kenyans will listen to the voices of mothers like Mother Kevin to see that justice is done. Justice is done. And I want to say, those who are in a rush to join Ruto, that Ruto is a passing cloud. I am saying that without a fear of contradiction. Because Ruto now has no money. Because he's been borrowing. And the Kenyans have told him, you cannot borrow. Ruto has said no taxation. But he said he is continuing to taxation. And he refused taxation through the finance bill, so he cannot tax Kenyans. Ruto has lost the confidence of the international community. So, where is Ruto going to take us? Ruto is taking us into a sinking ship. And I'm urging everybody that joining Ruto is a disaster, is an abomination. It cannot work. And nobody is going to tell us. When we are saying Ruto must go, Ruto must go, when we say Ruto must go with all his people. The entire government must go. Nobody is going to remain there. Ni Ruto no kodhi to ang' ma bro.
Rubi kocha, kami kanisa tolo mo dwati mbele.
Orege mo kila dalan. Okabino no, kangato, okabino no.
Kisumu County, the Luo Council of Kindone, Organizing Secretary for Luo Council of Elders. Ogie Toloni, Adu. Tuso goro pinini mana waparo ni Erokamano mang'eny kod mama kadi iro abani wapatende ni kama nchini jamii kichumi
Tuwalemo kawa dwaro joma konyo ting'o owadwa Kevin kawa chomo godala.
I am in total disagreement with James Agriole. He's my senior, he's my friend, but where he's wrong, I will tell him you are wrong. You cannot tell us that we cannot dialogue, that we cannot talk with Ruto, we cannot talk as Kenyans. What is the alternative? We cannot play politics of populism. We cannot play politics of theory. We have been playing politics of theory since independence. That is why we have got these things wrong. Where are you taking us? We cannot follow Kalonzo because we don't know where he's going. Personally, as John MBADI, I am saying it here affirmatively. I am not persuaded that Kalonzo is taking us anywhere. And I'm not persuaded that Uhuru means well for us now. If he wanted to give us leadership, he would have given us leadership. In 2022, some of us today, we would be cabinet ministers. I would not be a nominated member of parliament. You are telling us that now it's when Uhuru has a solution, has the key to take us to State House. When he was at State House, he handed over key to someone else. Now you are teaching us that Uhuru can give us the key to State House. I want to say it because I'm also a senior politician in this republic and this region. I am also a senior politician in Luland. I have authority. I am the chairman of ODM. We sat as a party. We told the Prime Minister, our party leader, we agreed that we need dialogue, we need discussion, we need conversation. We must decide where Kenya is going. ODM is a big party. We cannot just be passive participants. We must also talk about the future of this country. And you cannot tell us that the presidency of Ruto will come down. How? And if it comes down, what is the solution? If Ruto today resigns, it is Gachagua who is going to be president. Is he a better option? To me, I say no. Gachagua is worse than Ruto. He's a tribalist. He said Kenya is a company with the shareholders where we don't belong. Gachagua told us that we don't belong to the company called Kenya. That there are only two shareholders, the Kalenjins and Kikuyus. We cannot forgive him for that because he showed his intention and intent early enough. He is not a good material to lead this country. Some of us who are young, we have children, we will have grandchildren. We cannot allow someone with the mindset of Gachagua to take over the leadership of this country.
And I've listened to that, and it's very regrettable because the Gen Z protest was not an ODM issue. I don't just understand where the ODM party is getting its root in it, where they're even getting involved in it. When the young people went to the street on 18th of June, no one was carrying an ODM flag. No one was putting on an ODM merchandise. The country, the young people that went to the streets were carrying the flag and a bottle of water and a whistle. So the ODM party cannot purport, and MBADI cannot purport to be the savior in the situation, because the truth of the matter here, this is not an ODM issue. This is not a MBADI issue. Truth be told. And that is why William Ruto, and I'm just wondering, why don't these people read the sign? William Ruto said dialogue. People refused. They brought in Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga said but dialogue. People refused. Now this dialogue that MBADI is talking about, which one is it? President Ruto acknowledged today in Bomet that the young people declined any sort of dialogue. And John MBADI and the team must really understand this. The reason why I'm saying this, their move for this dialogue as a political hypocrisy is on this ground. I want to explain that. But look at it this way. Raila said, let us dialogue, and even Orengo did not say we don't want dialogue. Orengo said, let us dialogue, but before that dialogue, let's go for justice. Wale wenye waliuawa polisi, walipwe. Polisi wenye waliuawa raia, washtakiwe. Those who are in the hospital, their bills should be paid. The protesters that were arrested should be released. Those who were abducted should be released. Those were some of the irreducible minimums. But according to the incoming CS for Treasury, there should be no talk of justice. We should have the dialogue direct so that they save the country. Save the country from what? We are not in a mess. We are not in a mess. But this is political hypocrisy. And this is why I'm reading it as political hypocrisy. Number one, Kenya Kwanza has been using the majoritarian rule to pass everything in parliament for the last 2 years. It had to take the intervention of street protest for finance bill to be dropped. So if MBADI is saying that is the savior, that ODM was the savior, ODM last year, with the likes of MBADI in parliament, they could not stop finance bill. They could not stop finance bill. There are bills that have been passed in parliament, them staring, at times walking out. So the political dispensation that we've had with people taking to the streets has made the president to make concessions. So if this is anarchy, as MBADI is now boarding the anarchy narrative, then why did the president talk of end of Harambes? Why did the president even return that finance bill? So I think MBADI is hypocritical in the sense that the legislature where he sits, and he also serves in a majority party there, party with the minority, has failed to checkmate the government. Number two, Luo Nyanza youths, amongst the rest of Kenyans, have been murdered and killed. And this is not the first time. Even in this one, there are quite a number. Parents are burying their children. Last year, the ODM party themselves, they said 75 were killed. They went into the talks. They had these conditions, but these conditions were not met. And then they went into the talks. After going to the bipartisan talks, nothing came out of it. Just recently, a shell of the IBC bill came out after the protracted talks. Now, this time round, the young people that were protesting already are talking about justice for those who were killed. In fact, last week's protest was about justice for those who were killed. Now, why does the likes of MBADI want the country to repeat, or rather, Raila to repeat the same mistake? What is wrong with saying, let's look at justice first before we talk? Or it is just appetite to be the new CS? The third reason is this. Is it the first time that Ruto is giving a CS to Luo Nyanza? Oduor was a CS for ICT, full cabinet secretary. What can you attribute to his CS position to Luo Nyanza? This lie has been peddled for long. Even in this channel, if I ask you to look around your constituency and tell me a product or project that has has been brought about simply because a CS came from your village. Even the CS, the position, the cabinet slot that probably MBADI is supposed to get is one that was being held by Ndungu. My members of this channel from Kandara constituency, Njuguna Ndungu comes from Kandara constituency. That is the same constituency with Alice Wahome. How many projects can you go and point out to me that this was done because Njuguna Ndungu was in treasury? The budget making process and project allocation is a purely political process that is midwifed by the state machinery from the executive moving downwards. There is nothing that you can say if we have a CS, so the region is going to change. We've had a CS for ICT. How many ICT hubs are in Luo Nyanza because of Awalo? So we should not stop this live saying, you know, we are going to join government, so we are going to have change. Yes, but this is for you, your friends, and your family. So selfishness of pushing for self-interest under the pretext of saving the country. Saving the country from what? Third, the fourth understanding what I'm saying, this is hypocrisy. Raila hinted, what Orengo said, Raila supported today in the morning. Raila supported. And Raila said that let's push for justice. In fact, he even said that he is able and willing to relinquish the AU position so that if that is being used to wink him into submission. So much as we want to bring, and I don't agree with MBADI that, oh, Uhuru took us where, my clear position has been this. My clear position has been this. Uhuru Kenyatta meant well for Raila Odinga. But the machinery around Uhuru Kenyatta did not deliver the dream. Did not deliver the dream. Yes, Uhuru Kenyatta is not taking us anywhere. Kalonzo is not taking us anywhere. But by the time Kalonzo was supporting Raila, did you ever think that, did Kalonzo think Raila is not taking us anywhere? And if so where is Ruto taking us? Ruto gets second term. Probably the end game is to get a president from Nyanza. So Ruto gets a second term in 2027. Then Ruto will say, Aluo Tosha, who is he? So let us not, I find it a bit absurd that a politician from Luo Nyanza can oppose something called social justice because you want to get a cabinet slot. So you're being told, yes, we can talk, but before we talk, let's look at this, this, and this. Then MBADI says that, okay, we want the dialogue as the only way. No one is against dialogue, but we must look at this. I want to interpret this political shenanigan within ODM party. Ruto has employed a divide and rule and is cleverly splitting the Raila team because he is actually, and that split is thriving on supremacy battle. Why is MBADI talking? MBADI is talking because Orengo spoke. So there is a transition going on. Who will Raila hear? And it seems that Raila has made up his mind that he's not going that route. MBADI himself, sometimes I don't buy this I don't buy this. It is the MBADIs that have been benefiting from ODM party. Raila is the single politician that for the last 20 years has never got a very elective position through ODM party, apart from that prime minister under Grand Coalition. Since then, MBADI has been an MP twice. Until the time he could not even vie, he was nominated. Anna. The second thing I want to ask, with poor governance, with, when you're talking the rampant corruption, the opulence, and all this reckless borrowing, the things that people have been raising with the funding model, what is the guarantee that Ruto is going to serve the Luo interest that MBADI is saying? Is Ruto supposed to serve a Luo interest? What is the guarantee that there will be monopoly of Luo interests in Ruto's government moving forward? If anything, Ruto is the president of the Republic of Kenya and needs votes across the country. So I think the hypocrisy that, we want to do these things different, doing things different is, and I don't know why MBADI is saying doing things different and is supporting dialogue. There have been dialogues. Yes, there have been dialogues. Since the day we started, I think since the day I was in college, studying journalism, there have been dialogues. So MBADI thinks when we are going for dialogue, we are doing things different. Okay? But the same dialogue, when we ask before dialogue, let's look at social justice, then that is wrong. Hey. Hapana bana. Number 3. So if ODM joins government, how will ODM help fix the economy or fix the bad governance? Or MBADI wants to get there as the next cabinet minister for treasury. Then next time the Gen Z are protesting, they are going with Ruto. What is this thing? What is this magic bullet that if they get the cabinet slots? Because this thing of dialogue is just story. The interest here is about the cabinet slots. So what is the magic bullet they're going to do to fix the economy? And lastly, I think it is a bit absurd, wrong, selfish, and immoral for a politician to insinuate and to shield any move to pursue social justice. Life comes before even that cabinet slot. Yes. Life lost cannot be returned. That cabinet slot utapata, hata kesho unaweza pata. You can form your government and get a cabinet, the one you want. So I think as much as politicians are pushing for how they can get the cabinet slots, we should not be derailed, we should not be blindfolded, not to give attention to right to life. Because the same people, the same MBADI next year will be on the streets and has been doing this. So if the young people are saying let's have social justice and someone is saying because I want to be a cabinet, don't want social justice, no. Thank you.